anything creative, you're kind of imitating other people for a while. I mean, I was a huge Mitch Hedberg guy on stage, which is funny because I'm nothing like him now. And for anybody that doesn't know Mitch Hedberg, unfortunately, he died like right as he was getting famous. But he is the sort of deadpan, non sequitur, no emotion, but crazy good joke writing. And that's nothing of what I'm on stage now. But he was like the first comedian I fell in love with in my first 6 months. You know, I literally heard his voice in my own head when I was writing jokes. You know, it wasn't my own voice. I was just trying to imitate him. And then, you know, some of finding your voice is just time and practice, right? The continually of doing it and figuring out what you like and what you want to say and that sort of stuff. And so as I wrote more jokes and as I kept doing it, my own voice started replacing Mitch's voice in my head. But even then, it's more than just continuing to do it, because I'll tell you a story from early on in comedy. I would say my first like 3 years in comedy, I wrote jokes I didn't care about. I wrote jokes that I thought the audience would like. You know, I don't know that I really, but a lot of people do that, right? You know, I mean, I don't think that that's a rare thing. And so I was just trying to make people laugh. That's all I was thinking about. And I think a lot of comedians and a lot of creative people don't have a distinct moment like this where they realize it, but I did. So when I was about 3 years into comedy, I, you know, started writing jokes that I believed in more, that I thought were interesting and were more about topics I wanted to talk about rather than just dating is weird or whatever that I was
dating
doing.
Is weird.
Yeah, it is true. That is true. But I was in a casino doing a casino show, and they do a first show and then a second show, and they had a green room in the back, and I went up in the first show and did the jokes I believed in, you know, the newer jokes that I was like, this is what I want to be doing on stage. And I bombed super hard. I mean, they hated me. I got, you know, I was the opening act, and so I was doing like up and was like, you know, doing stuff like men are different than women, or Asian people drive like this, or, you know, just that sort of stuff. And he crushed, and he did great on stage. And I went into the green room and I cried. I physically cried. And I remember sitting there and thinking like, okay, this is where I have to decide what kind of a comedian do I want to be. Am I going to go back up there for the second show and do the jokes that I believe in? Or am I going to do some of this other stuff that I don't believe in just to make the crowd happy, right? And I sat there and I thought about it for a while. I mean, I really did some soul searching in that green room while the headliner was doing great on stage. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go up and I'm going to do the stuff I believe in, because I think in the grand scheme of things, doing what I believe in and what excites me creatively is going to take me further than pandering to an audience that I don't really care about. And so I went up on the second show and I did the same jokes I believe in and bombed just as hard. But man, I had a great time that second show. Because the whole time, the first show, I was just upset that I was bombing. And the second show, I believed in myself. Even though I was bombing, I was like, I'm so proud of myself for doing what I believe to be true to my own like art and voice and that sort of thing.
I was already a Grant Lyon super fan before the story. This story gives me a major case of the feels, Grant. That is incredible.
Thanks.
Yeah, if you can have that moment, you're lucky. And if you make a choice for something that will give you long-term success, that is incredible.